Hey, what's up? It is Toni. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to the breakdown. So on the breakdown, I give my full commentary on the previous documentary Friday and just kind of give y'all my opinions and thoughts and all the things. This week, we are talking about Anatomy of Lies. That will tell you a whole lot. This one is insane. I know that I'm always like, oh my God, this is good. No. I think at this point, I've watched so many different documentaries that it's starting to be like a little disturbing, or I'm a little perplexed. I don't know if perplexed is the right word. Fascinated by the fact that there are so many people that are just out here just lying for sport. Like you're just lying for no reason. Nobody asked you that question. You just walked up to somebody and said, yeah, because, huh? It is weird. It's like, okay, girl. I don't understand. However, let's get right into it. So Anatomy of Lies is about a woman named Elizabeth Finch. Elizabeth Finch is a regular chick, goes to high school in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. She goes to a fine arts school, so she's a creative. She wrote a play in high school that did well. It won awards all across the state. It's kind of had a little dark side to it. I think it was called Daddy's Home, and it was about living in an abusive home, living in a home with an abusive father. So she had a friend that was on the documentary, and the friend was like, Liz was always cool, fun to be around, but she always had a little bit of a dark side to her. But she was cool though, right? So anyway, graduate, she's moving forward. She knows she wants to be in the creative space. So goes to college, meets a girl named Aurora. They become a thing, right? They're together. Aurora and Liz are together. And then eventually they break up. Liz goes to USC to do film school. So in the process of her, while she's out there and studying television and film, she gets a job as an assistant on the show True Blood. She's like, oh, I'm in this thing. I'm pushing towards where I'm trying to get. Then she applied to be an assistant to Shonda Rhimes. Shonda Rhimes is the creative genius and producer of Grey's Anatomy, Bridgerton, How to Get Away with Murder, all the hot shows, right? Just because she had a run for a minute. She's still on a run, but it was crazy. So it was out of her and this other girl. It was out of Liz and this other guy. I'm sorry. So the job was out of Liz and this other guy, and the guy beat her out. Liz was pissed. She was like, man, whatever. Felt some kind of way, was hurt about it. Went home, was like, man, I ain't even tripping on that. I ain't worry about that. In the process of that, she sent her girlfriend a book, Fault in Their Stars or something like that. I've never seen the movie or read the book, but I think the book is about two teenagers. One has cancer and it's a whole thing, right? And so the girlfriend is kind of like, what is she trying to tell me? So she goes she tells her girlfriend, hey, I just found out that I have cancer in my spine. I would really love if you could come with me and travel with me to do treatments at the Mayo Clinic. And so the girlfriend is like, I can do that. I could do that for a friend, right? Because they're not together anymore. So they do that. Liz is pissed that she didn't get the job, but the show is moving forward. Grey's is going, and they are like super fans. Her and the girlfriend are super fans. So anyway, they go to the Mayo Clinic. She's getting her cancer treatments. The one thing that Liz asked the girlfriend not to do, and that is, don't come in the hospital where I'm getting treatment at. Just don't do it, girl. So she was like, okay. She was like, I'm just going through all of this stuff and chemo, whatever. Just sit in the car and I'll be back. Chemo is not like running into a gas station to get some pop, baby. Could be a long drawn out thing. It's not something you just sit in the car and wait for. But she was like, okay, whatever. She just waited. One day she decided, I don't know why she decided, but she probably like, girl, it's hot out here. I'm supposed to come in here. How are you going to stop me from? That girl Liz got so mad at her. I mean, mad. And the girlfriend said, I guess you can forgive anything if you feel like your friend is dying of cancer. So apparently Liz said some crazy stuff to her, but she was like, she's just going through the chemo, yada, yada, yada. Throughout this process, she starts writing articles about her journey with cancer and getting treatment and all of this stuff. Not in like some little school newspaper and some little rinky dink, magazine. It's like in big magazines like Vanity Fair and, big stuff. So she starts writing them and the article gets traction. And people are like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? This is crazy. She getting calls from her hometown saying, we're standing by you and, just cheering her on for her chemo treatments. In the process, one of the writers from Grey's Anatomy gets his hands on one of the articles. He was like, oh my God, this is crazy. This girl has really been through a lot. It was a really well-written article. And he was like, man, this is wild. I'm going to pass this on to Shonda, because in the article, she was just talking about, different stuff, Grey's Anatomy, whatever. And so it was essentially the article went viral. So Shonda sees it and she's like, oh, we need to get this girl in. This article is so well written. We need to get her in to interview her. She goes in to meet him and they're like, oh, this was so good. We're going to hire you on. Shonda thought it would be a great idea because Liz had firsthand information about the hospital setting, cancer treatments, the whole thing. So it's like, oh, she would be great for Grey's Anatomy. It's great to have her in the writer's room because she can give us some information that we typically wouldn't have. One of the guys that was also a writer on there was like, it was crazy because this girl was like an encyclopedia of Grey's Anatomy. He said sometimes we would be in a meeting and I'm just going to make up a scenario. They would be in a meeting and they would be like, well, this character had blonde hair on that episode, so we got to figure out a way to fix that. And Liz would be like, oh yeah, when she had blonde hair, that was season 3, episode 7. And they would be like, how does she know that just right off the top of the head? Like you couldn't miss her. Like she was dead on every time. She just had all the information. So she was a great addition to the writer's room and to the show. And, she was a great contribution to it, right? But throughout this process, even though she's working, she's still going through cancer treatment. She's getting her chemo in LA now. Like she's sick, she's not feeling good, but she would show up every day to work, enthusiastic, but still very much so sick. She would be going to the bathroom, throwing up all day, looking a little gray, just hair falling out, all the things. But she was a soldier and pushed through and came to work anyway, right? So they're like, man, this is really bad. We feel so bad for her. Well, at one point, when it came to the writing part, she wasn't cutting it. Like she was just okay. It wasn't really, so some of the other writers was like, we can get somebody else. Like she was on the chopping block. Somebody from the top called and said, don't cut her. Like, it's not a good look to fire somebody with cancer. I'm like, oh God. Which, it kind of feel like she knew that. I don't know if, because what I am perplexed by is, I don't know. I'll get back to that. But they said, don't fire her. That would be real raggedy for us to fire her while she's going through cancer treatments. So they was like, okay, cool. So we'll just keep on until y'all say so. Okay, so we'll just keep on until y'all say so. Different stuff started happening. The weird part is what they kept saying is she didn't like talking about the cancer at work. She was very, very private. She was very private about, her treatments and what she was doing from day to day and how it was going. She never wanted to talk about it. And one of the writers was like, it was weird because she was very, very private with us, people that she worked with every day. But then she would go home or wherever she went and write an article and give all of these details about what was going on. But when they would try to talk about, it's like, oh no, it's like, huh? Like, so it was bizarre to them. But they like, okay, well, maybe she just, I don't know. This girl went as far as starting a podcast about her cancer called The Stupid Cancer Show. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, girl, you already telling a lie that is so big. What would make you go start a podcast about something you already lying about? Because now the cancer is a lie and the show is a lie. It's just too much. It's way too much. Like, huh? Like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? The thought of getting busted in that is just, child. Anyway, the writers were super sympathetic to her situation. Stuff was happening like every time it would be like a deadline. We need this to be done by this day or this. She would always have treatment. Yeah, I have treatment and, I would. Stuff just started kind of unraveling. And the weird part about this kind of stuff is that's why it is important to me, in my mind, to talk. In those situations, everybody is scared of looking like a jerk because probably at some point, everybody in the writer's room or everybody that was encountering her in that space was kind of like, this feel a little weird. But then they didn't want to say that to another writer and they'd be like, it make them look like a butthole. So it's like, okay, let me just pretend to be, oh yeah, that really is sad. But on the inside, you kind of like, something is off about this girl. So, but anytime a deadline would come up, she would have to leave. It was a picture that she took, kind of, and her shirt was kind of down a little bit and you could see her port. Let me tell you something. This chick was selling it. I mean, selling it. One time they were in the writer's room and there was a mass shooting at a synagogue in Pittsburgh. And she just jumped up and left. In the middle of we writing the show, she just jumped up and left. Crying, like, oh my God, oh my. They kind of like, what's going on with her? Da, 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 da. They called her and asked this girl, where did you go? Oh my God, I'll call y'all and let y'all know. I'm at the airport. I'm getting a flight. I'm going to Pittsburgh, that particular synagogue. I used to be a member there, and I'm going to help them. That is like my duty to help her because she was Jewish. I don't know if she was really Jewish, but that's what she said. So she was like, it is my duty to go and help them sift through all of this. And yeah, I got to go. I will call y'all as soon as I'm done. I mean, working it. Working it bad, right? So who gonna say, girl, you ain't went to know? Because who gonna call you out on that? If I would have, everybody in the room was probably like, that was weird. The weirdness of it all was every time something happens big in the news, she had been through it. Every time. Or even if she hadn't been, like she had this way of like, so we get in the middle of the Me Too movement. It's the height of the Me Too movement. She writes an article in a magazine that says all of these salacious things, makes all of these accusations about the guy that directed True Blood. She said he did all of this stuff to her and, talked about how bad he would talk to the people and all of this stuff. Well, some of the other people that worked on True Blood, one of the ladies was on the documentary, maybe it was two, but they said when it came out, they were looking at each other like, do you remember that? I don't remember that. They don't remember any of it. She was making it up. And the guy that she made the accusations about, the job that he was on at the time, they didn't call him back for the next season. So she ruined that man's situation just making stuff up. It was one thing after the next. Okay, so you was a part of that too? So here's when it started getting really like raggedy, where you'd be like, okay, girl, I'm gonna beat you up in this parking lot. So one of the other writers in the room that she worked with every day shared a story with Liz Finch. And she said how she had found out that her father was actually her mom's capist. I'll say capist to keep from saying the other word. She was saying that she was still kind of processing that and that her mother had never really processed it and the whole thing. So fast forward a little bit, they're in the writer's room pitching ideas, and this girl pitches the idea of that girl's story. Just threw it out there. Huh? Just as if that girl didn't, she just talked about it as if it was her story. She said, and I didn't, here's the thing too. Here's the thing. At the time, the girl, Liz Finch, at this point, she's a co-executive producer on Grey's Anatomy. The girl whose story she kind of stole was a lower level writer. So she was just kind of like, dang, I don't want to rock the boat. This girl is on a run. And if somebody gonna get cut loose or if they gonna shut somebody down, it's gonna be me, not her. So she never said anything. She just ate it. I mean, what do I do? But it made her sad. Then they had an episode, I don't know if it was the one about the Me Too movement. No, it was one about cancer. Debbie Allen was starring in that particular episode. The scary part, I think, about all of this is, so Debbie Allen is a jewel. Like, she's amazing, right? She just, all the things, energy, vibrant, all the things. She directs a lot of episodes of Grey's Anatomy. This particular one she was acting in. And at one point, Liz Finch was so sick that Debbie Allen brought her to work a couple times. So I'm thinking, Debbie Allen, the Debbie Allen, is riding around with Miss Looney Tunes and none the wiser. Oh my God. Like it made the hair on my arm stand up. Now this girl was just a liar, like a prolific liar. But what if she was like crazy, just like a killer? And I'm in this car. It is crazy. It's just very, very weird. Liz is doing all the things. When she went up there to help at the synagogue, she tweeting about it. You know, I had to help my former synagogue go through the remains of the people from the, and then she would just pop back in for work. One of the main guys in the documentary said synagogue incident was like, it just had him like, now what now? Like it was just too weird. It wasn't making sense. Because when you start to look at stuff, when you start to get suspicious, then other stuff stands out. Now, girl, what? Now, did she say? So he was kind of onto it, but he still didn't know what to do with it, because how do you walk up to somebody and say, girl, you ain't got cancer, shut up, and put them clippers up and quit shaving your head? How do you do that? You just kind of go like, oh, okay. As time moves on, Finch, again, deadline coming up, she just jumps up, leaves the building, and goes to some place and gets into treatment for PTSD, because she was helping them sift through and identify remains from the mass shooting in Pittsburgh. Oddly enough, one of the characters on the show had just left on the show, like not in real life, but on the show, had went for treatment for the same thing at the same time. It's like, okay, so you doing the same, simultaneously doing the same stuff as the people on the show. Okay. So that was bizarre. They like, wait, do what now? But again, they like, well, everybody's scared to say, girl, quit playing, go gather your things and go home. You know what I'm saying? First of all, even if she wasn't sick, ain't nobody, I just can't see them letting nobody take off that many days. Girl, go in there and sit down and write, or don't. But she left, went to go get PTSD treatment. In that process, she met somebody there. It was a woman who had gone through all of this stuff. The woman was dating somebody that was stalking her and had really like messed her mind up really bad. And so she got out and then Liz got out and the dude was like on her neck. Like he was like, oh, baby, back like I never left. So he would call her and leave all these threatening messages, and Liz would bring her to California to kind of hide her out. And the girl had 3 kids and she was just shook. She had just been through so much. They started dating. Liz proposed. They were getting married. She got close to the kids, all the things, had a good relationship with the kids. Before they got out of treatment, Liz called her old girlfriend and was like, I'm just dealing with some PTSD stuff because, I never told you this before, but my brother physically abused me when we were growing up. And Aurora's like, what? Oh. Wait, what now? She told her mom and them that her mom and dad are stressed out and this is wild. What do you mean? This is not. The brother's like, what are you talking about? It just wasn't making any sense to anybody, but they're like, well, I guess we believe her if she's telling us, whatever. So Liz started taking on the girlfriend's behaviors. She would be mirroring the girlfriend. The girlfriend's name was Jen. She would be mirroring whatever trauma she was going through. Liz would kind of mirror it. It just kept getting worse and worse. And Jen's boyfriend or whatever, baby daddy, whatever it was, that joker went to Jen's house, tore everything up, knocked holes in it, just went crazy, and then took his own life. So that had her shook. It was just one thing after the next. But with all of this stuff going on, Liz is lurking in the background the whole time, just doing stuff. Let me tell you this. They were at a house one time. It was some neighbors and stuff over, and they were having a good time and, just hanging and talking, whatever, had food out because the son had gotten casted for some kind of play, I think it was. The girl, Jen, was like, we're going to have some food and over to the house, and we're going to have the neighbors over. Liz decides, she's leaning over, like, what do you call it? Hunched over. She's hunched over because her stomach is hurting so bad. The girlfriend Jen is like, what's wrong? She was like, oh, I think I got a kidney stone. I had one of my kidneys removed before, and I just know what they feel like. And she was like, oh my gosh. She was like, what do you think you need to drink some water? No, I need to go to the hospital. She go to the hospital. They sitting in there. The doctor comes in and says, hey, no, it's not a kidney stone. Everything looks fine with her kidneys. And the girlfriend was like, he said kidneys with an S. Like, was that a mistake? No, he's showing me the picture. Like, what is going on? Why would you make up having having your kidney removed? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? So she like, okay, so now she really kind of like, okay, this is getting weird, but she was literally just trying to push through. But it was getting weirder and weirder. It's like, okay, she says she don't have a kidney. She got a kidney removed. And now this doctor saying kidneys. It's kind of throwing me off. I didn't tell y'all this. The girl, Jen, she's a nurse. Jen is a nurse. So one day, Jen is looking through socials. First of all, things just started unraveling. The day that Liz said she was at the synagogue helping was October 27th, 2000, whatever year it was. The girl, she looking at pictures, she was like, no, wait a minute now. October 27th, you at a Halloween party, baby. You got on a costume and you with your friends. What? Girl, what is happening? Then another picture on her socials, she ran into that picture where she was sitting out on set, I think it was, and you could see her port. And the girl was like, oh my God, hold on, wait a minute. I've been sleeping next to this girl every day. I ain't never seen no port. I ain't even seen a scar from a port. And it started to unravel. Like, oh my God. Now she's kind of like, this person is not who I thought she was. How can I be so dumb? I'm a nurse. I know better. This makes sense why she never wanted me to take certain pictures, and no, I don't want to be photographed. Because she keeping up with all of these lies that she's telling. Is this another situation like the boyfriend had unalived himself? God, her head is spinning and she is starting to flip out. Now the girl, Liz, is flipping on her kids and getting information from her kids and threatening. It was just wild. Y'all have to go watch this. Spoiler, she don't get prison. Which is another thing. She was doing all of this for most of the times when you see these documentaries like this, they are doing all this lying for a specific reason, like, oh yeah, and then she took $900 million. No. I guess the original lie was to get the job. I don't know if it was to get the job or the attention, because there was no real. But again, my thing is, like that girl in that last documentary, girl, you could have been and faked a miscarriage by now, but you just kept it going like you didn't have a real plan. So you just making it up as you went, and that then led you to go do something really, really crazy. This girl, Liz, girl, what was all of this for? You didn't take no money from nobody. You were just walking around being a creep, lying to people. It's like she got a high from watching people be sympathetic towards her. What is it that you're trying to do? You know, this chick never said, I'm sorry. She never apologized or acknowledged, because she did acknowledge that she lied about a bunch of stuff. The girlfriend ended up taking her to therapy and knew that she would tell the truth in there, and told the therapist everything. The therapist like, oh, this is a great breakthrough. I've never seen a breakthrough like this. Now we need to go to your mom and them and tell them that this stuff about your brother was not true. She went and told her mom and dad that it wasn't true. And the mama was like, girl, like, you've been keeping me up at night thinking, what did I miss? How did I? And she was just sitting there like, yeah. She never said, I'm sorry. She never apologized. It was just the weirdest thing. But she went and wrote an article. In the article, she said point blank, sometimes the biggest part of all of this was trying to keep up with all the lies I had told. Girl, what is wrong with you? Huh? It was, crazy work. Crazy work. How are you doing this? Now I'm just running off the lies that the girl was telling. One day, I felt sad for the girlfriend's daughter. Some of this stuff was happening in the height of the pandemic during COVID. The girl wanted to go to her senior prom. They would not let her go to the senior prom because if she got COVID and brought it back to Liz could die. Liz made, I'm going to die I'm going to die if you go to the prom. Whole time, ain't nothing wrong with this chick. She ain't even got a basic common code. Ain't nothing wrong with her. So this girl missed her prom messing around with this crazy lady and this weird. I was so annoyed by that. I mean, like, beyond annoyed. She would say stuff like, I got invited to the Emmys and, but I'm happy that I'm here with you. That girl didn't get invited to the Emmys. Like, she just walking around guilt tripping people. What are you getting out of that? What is that called? Where you just make stuff up to make people feel bad. And that is weird. It was red flag after red flag after red flag, right? It was just red flags all over the place. And I understand that when somebody is supposed to be terminally ill, because the girl was walking around with terminal cancer for years at that point, and the writer's kind of like, baby, she probably just gonna die any day now, because she coming to work looking more frail and more frail. So you got these red flags all over the place. The girlfriend. I felt bad for the girlfriend because the girlfriend was had just ended a relationship from somebody that was stalking her. And he was unhinged and untethered to sanity to some degree. I mean, clearly some of the stuff he was doing was really wild. And the fact that she ended up being with somebody right after that was just as unhinged, but in a different way, is crazy to me. So you're trying to figure out, are these people targeting you because they just know the look? The predator always knows the prey. I say that all the time. So I have this thing with my friends where, you see something big on the news, something happens, and then you will hear the narrative will be, oh, no, they would never. Please, I wish they would. And the truth is you're right, because the predator always knows the prey. So they know that, that ain't even, she's not a good candidate. Let's go on to something else. So it's like, did these two people know that she was a good candidate? Or was she kind of picking him? Because even if they think she's a good candidate, how does she keep falling for this? I guess is a better way to word that. What? It's just weird. It's just really, really weird. The girl, Finch, looked off. Like, if you go to my Instagram page, I posted a little video. When the Me Too movement, I mean, it was just lie after lie after lie after lie. When the Me Too movement happened, that Instagram page, Now This, I think is what it's called. Why was she on there giving a PSA about the Me Too movement and her experience being, girl, ain't you tired? Like, you should be somewhere taking a nap right now, because you have got to be drained, because you just making up stuff. Somebody asks you something. It is just, I don't know what is happening. It is crazy. Go check it out. Check it out and come back and let me know what you think. Because it was, I don't know if it was so crazy, because no, it was crazy, period. Like, full stop. It felt crazier probably to me because I'm fresh off of the Maternal Instinct documentary. Because what is that called? Like, what is that? Something else I'm convinced of? I'm convinced in those situations, the bigger the lie, the more people are likely to believe it. And I say that because there are some lies that are so big that the person you telling them to is most likely thinking, even if they thought it might be a lie, it's most likely like, who would lie about that? Who would lie about, that you would just be like, nah, that ain't no lie, because ain't nobody just walking around lying about that. Why would somebody lie about that? Whole time they lying through their teeth, just for sport, to get a high. It's like weed to them. Like, oh yeah, I'm about to, or crack or meth. It's like, ooh-wee, about to get high. And they getting high about it's just making up. What in the world? Anyway, check it out. Let me know what you think. Come back and let me know your thoughts. Am I being too judgy by thinking that they probably should have figured it out? What are your thoughts based on what I said in my commentary? Anyway, I look forward to seeing y'all again, and we'll talk soon. Talk to you later. Bye.